Ladies and gentlemen, it's me, Greg Miller from IGN. And up at noon, of course, sometimes something so big, or at least huge to me, happens that we have to do a special interview episode. Today's one of them. NCAA Football 14, as I live and breathe, Ben Haumiller.
Hey, what's going on? Pleasure to be here. Thank you for jogging over here in your suit to come see me.
As I told Troy Baker from BioShock Infinite and Last of Us, I'd wear his shoes every day till E3 when I stopped working out.
There we go.
To not be in E3 shape anymore.
Right.
How much do you hate Madden?
How much do I hate Madden?
Yeah, your NCAA football.
That's a great question.
You got Madden.
Right.
It's one of those things for so many years now. NCAA football, the one that's it's way better than Madden. Everybody's like, oh man, NCAA, that's where I go. That's where the real football fans go. And then last year Madden comes out, and I guess what everybody physics.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, best Madden ever.
Well, here's a little unknown fact: is that physics did come into NCAA last year as a 5-star recruit. little raw. Coach said, you know what, take a red shirt this year.
Okay.
So that was what we planned, and that's what we did with physics last year. Wasn't quite ready to go, but it's a new day, new game.
It's making it in NCAA football 14.
Infinity Engine is there. It's in NCAA 14, yes.
Are you happy you had the year, I guess? Are you happy you redshirted it last year?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, the 6-week lead time difference between us and Madden really was the determining factor, right?
Yeah.
You look at what Madden shipped last year, they shipped a very good version of it.
Right.
But if we had 6 weeks before then, we had to cut it off and we had to put that out, I mean, we would have shut down YouTube with the number of clips of physics going wrong. So we started this year with that version coming into NCAA, taking that red shirt off,
Yeah.
and expanding on it from there. And so it's kind of a more mature version of physics, a better version of it.
I like that, the more mature version.
Yeah, So very happy to have it in the game. It looks great and it plays great. And then the evolution of it is taking that one step further and adding physics to more than just tackles and more than just what you saw last year, but moving on to the impact that happens when you make force. So something like a stiff arm, for example. Physics is applied to stiff arm.
This is how it's been in the game forever.
Right.
We're just running side by side and I'm stiff arming you.
But now it depends on where I hit you, what you do.
Okay.
If I pop you right in the face mask,
your
head's going to fly back.
Well, sure.
But if I get you in the shoulder, your shoulder's going to go back. It's all the impact of what happens there on that stiff arm. Hit stick is back with a lot more impact this year, and the impact on whether you're getting hit. Truck stick as well in a realistic physics manner. So it's a big upgrade there. What
about stuff when we talked about this a second ago before the cameras came on?
Right.
There's some movie magic happening here.
Pull back the curtain a little bit, yes.
I'm a running back. I get the ball, I take off, and then I stumble into my own blocker and fall down.
I mean,
that's not real football. That's not how it goes. I know not like.
Okay, so Mark Sanchez does it once. That's our passo, right?
Well, you didn't know because you didn't know, and that wasn't NCAA, right?
I know. Okay,
there's so many more talented quarterbacks and running backs in the NCAA.
So that's one of the improvements to just the physics engine itself was getting rid of the stumble into and fall down, right? But another part to that is contextual awareness. Knowing that there's somebody in front of you, putting your hand out and kind of pushing your way aside of them. Same thing for defenders too, like a linebacker blitzing through, won't get caught up in the wash. He'll push his hand and kind of push himself out of the way. So it's a big way to really help kind of keep things moving so you don't just run right into somebody.
Sure. So then start giving me some of the nitty-gritty. Last year I met up with you guys. You blew up my head with these stats. Different, had new trajectories. You had these new plays. You had this. What are we talking about in terms of new formations, new stuff like that?
It's the college game, right?
Yeah.
It's the innovation of the college game and what you see now transcending into the NFL. And you're seeing the NFL do a lot more with things like the read option and that kind of spread option play.
Sure.
Well, that all started in college. And so we're kind of really expanding that spread option playbook and adding a lot of different option varieties that we haven't had before. So I think we're at over 30 different pitch types or pitch concepts into the game. Midline options, the shovel option, things like that we haven't had before to really make the option game so much more fun.
Okay. Yeah. How are my Missouri Tigers?
I mean,
that's the most important question.
They're playing old man football. They're playing old man football.
They are playing.
I cannot let that quote go down.
That was a bad thing to say if you're the Missouri Tigers coming into the SEC.
Right.
You don't want to come in usually and talk about the SEC right before you go play them.
And Lord knows A&M had a hard time transitioning too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Please, it's been a pleasure interviewing you. You are welcome to leave.
Anytime. Yeah.
Ben, for all the people meeting you for the first time here, they're watching here on the IG and the Up and Noon. How did you? You're kind of insane about this game.
Yeah, I've been told that. Yeah,
it's kind of like all you talk about. I go to lunch with you. We start talking about TV shows. You power down.
I don't have nothing to say.
Then you start up when we talk about football.
Right.
Talk about the pigskin.
Yeah. Ask my wife. That's exactly how I am.
Oh, that's got to be fun at home.
Oh, it's great.
Hey, honey, let's go to home.
Tuesday night, and Sunbelt action time. I'm excited.
Yeah.
She's like, really?
You're the only person in that neighborhood probably excited for Sunbelt action time.
I don't think there's anyone in America who's listened to more Dave Pash calling football games on ESPN than I have. So
then, I mean, what do you tell kids right now who want to get into making like any kind of game, getting into making video games, what's the right avenue for people right now?
Well, what's interesting with it is my degree was in sociology.
Wow. Okay.
I have a minor in communications.
Yeah. Well,
So-
you're good at talking.
Major in bullshit, minor in bullshit, right? I mean, that's basically what it was, right? But they didn't
Don't
have
worry,
anywhere
Brian
for me.
Altano has like an art degree or something.
But there was nowhere for me to go, right, to do anything in games at that point. You know, when I started, I was kind of in that age where QA was your only way in unless you had a specific skill, you know, if an engineer, that sort of thing. Now we've got guys that have master's degree in game design. It's crazy. It took me 7 years to figure out, you know, what they're walking in with. So, you know, there are ways for you now, if you're interested, to get involved with it. But I, love it. You know, there are sports games out there. Be involved in sports games if that's what you want to do, or any game genre. Like, embrace yourself into that genre, and play everything else too. That's the other big part.
Yeah.
Don't just play. I mean, I might love NCAA and play it all the time, but I play everything just to keep yourself up on what's going on in the industry and pull those ideas into how you can make your game better.
The next question then is, you know, how do you, like, you guys work on a game for an entire year and then
Right.
put it out, and somebody comes and they're like, it's just a roster update.
Of course.
They only did this. EA's evil.
Well, you've got that. You've got the half that don't play sports games and immediately write off as,
Right.
oh, just a roster, I'm done. Why does anyone play this? Then you have those that are huge fans of it, and sometimes so much more of fans that they look at every little thing and say, oh, the sock length for my school is wrong. This game's garbage. Unplayable.
Yeah.
You know, because the socks
Who
are
would
wrong.
do that? I don't know.
You know,
I
so
might have put it in my review that Mizzou's new uniforms weren't available right at the get-go.
So that's another fun part, is keeping up with uniforms, and that's
Yeah.
another thing that causes a lot of frustration with fans, and understandably so, because
Sure.
you know, we're the only outlet out there to get college football games, and it's just working with the schools and trying to get those uniforms in time is tough for us to wind up doing. But yeah, you put yourself out there, right, to
Yeah.
be the guy to talk about the game, and you get the negativity for that, of course, because no game is perfect, and you know, as a consumer, you want that perfection. So you know, you take the good with the bad. You get your lumps, but it's also fun.
You talked about people who are super into the game.
Yeah.
I'm super into the game.
Right.
I got to play a little bit of it there. One of the things I like the most about it, right, is you're talking about physics and how it's changing and this, that, and I like being able to move around my defenders, obviously, when I'm running the ball or stuff. But a big thing for me, I'm a big running gun. I want to pass.
Yeah.
I want to run. I want to drop. Bring down my options, take off. Planting your feet now. There's no more of this, like, remember how it was like these little curves? You had to run these like.
You're kind of going down the slalom, right, and just kind of sliding
exactly.
around a little bit. And so that's gone. It's all hard cuts and that foot stepping to make those hard cut instruction changes, and the deceleration of the player to make those cuts, so you're not just turning on a dime. You actually have to slow down naturally and make that turn. So it changes there, and also with the acceleration burst too, to make that cut.
Right, yeah, you've taken away automatic acceleration.
You don't need to have that full sprint anymore, right? You don't need to press that right trigger to get to your full sprint. It's going to do that automatically. You've seen that in other games too. NHL does the same thing, where you know, while you're skating, it will just get to its top end speed. Same thing here, but if you want to get to your top end speed immediately, like you've made that cutback and you want to get to your top end speed, or you're trying to get to the outside on a stretch play, you hit that right trigger, and he's going to get that burst to get him to his top end speed.
I'm sure they're seeing it, but you got this little meter on the bottom.
You see it go, yeah, and as you're doing different moves, you're going to see that go down. So as you're accelerating, you're going to see that start to decrease.
Final question before I let you go.
Okay.
Back to making the game, because I'm excited to play it.
Yeah.
Do you ever worry about making it too real? It's one of those things where like the stuff you're talking about, right? Like it's getting to the point where I can't play online and compete most of the time,
Yeah.
because I get on there and these people have played football their entire lives and know. Whereas I used to just, I'd sub in a wide receiver at tight end and then fall back 50 yards and throw Hail Mary.
Well, you've got to add in things like that to add in the realism, right? Like this year, we're adding in play calling based on personnel groups, and so you have that, and that's going to also help the CPU to call better plays against you, because they're going to call plays out of the package of the personnel they have on the field, and,
Sure.
and you're going to be limited to that as well as the user. But you have that element. You want to get those realistic things in there, but it's also still a game. And the option game, there's a lot to it that's making the right reads and doing things the proper way. But it's also just fun to be able to make the read, make that pitch out there, and just do it. So yeah, you make that balance, right, between we're still a sim game. We're not over the top arcadey, but you still want to have elements of fun. We talk about something like a fumbled snap, right? Well, that's real. Real snaps, fumble snaps happen all the time. But if that happened to you, national championship game, fourth quarter, last play, and you fumbled the snap out of something that wasn't your control, you'd be livid. You'd be breaking your controller. You'd be screaming at me about how bad I am at my job.
You would get a personal phone call.
Right.
If the Missouri Tigers lost,
so
in the national championship, which they never would.
No, I mean maybe their fourth championship in a row. They finally lose one day. Yeah.
Go.
So you strike that balance though between fun and gameplay and keeping it as real as you possibly can.
Okay. Ben, when's it come out?
We're coming out July 9th.
All right. Ben Haumiller, everybody. He's one of my favorites. Give me a
Oh,
handshake.
thank
Ben.
you very much.
Give me a hug.
There we go.